السلام عليكم everyone. صباح الخير. We will start our third master session today, inshallah. Before I start, if anyone have any questions or you want anything to ask, it's free to say. But I think you all just get up from the sleeping. Okay, so let us start our class today. We stop here. And I hope you all prepare very well for the mid exam. And always, I wish you all the best. So let us start our session. The session will be recorded, and I know most of you, they will be having some exam or because the exam started. So let us start. Now we stop here. We'll discuss today about the relationships between the classes. Relationships, يعني how the class react to each other, how they send their message to each other. So we have four main relationship: the association, direct association, recursive, and multiplicity. What is about the association? Association is a kind of relationship. It will be happen in two directions, so that both the classes, they will send and receive messages from each other. Like here, the passenger and the airplanes. Passenger and airplane. Passenger may send a message to the airplane. The airplane may send a message to them. Here we'll have a direct association. Direct associations means it's only one direction, or we call it a unidirection. So one of the classes will be send the message to other. The second one, they cannot send anything to them. So think about the direction association is the relation in only one direction or one way. A recursive means people they study in M269, they know clearly what's mean by the cursive. Recursive means repeating myself or calling myself. So that is a class calling themselves. So a class inside the class. Staff will call a staff. A boss will call his employee. So that is called a recursive. A multiplicity is something multiple. So the relation between one class and another, it may be 2, maybe 3, maybe 10, maybe 100. So for that, we say multiplicity. Okay. So here we'll see another type of relationship like inheritance. And we all know the inheritance from the M251. Inheritance means we have a superclass and a child class, or a parent class. A parent class will be having the most of the behaviors and data fields. So the child class will inherit from that. And we have two important relationship like aggregations and compositions. Like aggregation and compositions here, I'll just change the red color small. Like aggregations and compositions here. Aggregation is a relationship, it shows like this square is empty square, and here will show by the black square. So when you see something like that, you understand this is a compositions relationship, and this is an aggregation relationship. We will see the difference between both of them, and that we already know from M251, but we will get just refresh our memory. For a compositions class, that means the class own the other classes. And for the aggregation class, it will be the class related to each other. So like example we have here, we can define aggregated class like this in M251, public class name, and the main class is public class student. They'll be having two data field name and address, and we have another class called address. So here for this relationship, as students, if we delete the student, we must delete their names, must delete their names. But when we delete the student, we should not delete the addresses, because a student live in Riyadh, we have 100 students live in Riyadh. So we cannot remove our address in Riyadh. So like that, the relationship between a composition and aggregation, it will be something like this. For more explanation for the relationship, we'll think about association as Class A use Class B. Like an employee can use the bus and the train transportation. So the relationship between the employee and the train, it will be an association relationship. Think about the aggregation like class A contain class B. That's mean, think about an employee like teacher can belong to any departments. Teacher can belong to any department. If I delete the teacher, that does not mean I have to delete the department. So this kind of relationship, it could be a aggregation. Think about the compositions like a composition class A on class B. So whenever I delete, so like whenever A is removed, B must be removed or mandatory. So we'll have like a bank account, and we have bank and we have account. So if we delete the bank, for sure we have to delete the account. So we cannot have an account without having a bank. So this kind of relationship must be a composition. For the inheritance relationship is a generalization for the relationship. We'll say class B is a class A. We will say student, we will say employee is a parent class. HR employee is a child class. Okay, so you have to understand clearly the differentiation between the four relationships: the association, aggregation, composition, and inheritance. And this is always come in the exam in any way. They have to mention this type of relationship in the exam. Is that clear? Do you have any question? And please, I always mention, please, students enter to the class room by using your email address, the university email address. That will make your attendance appear. You attend that class and you can access the recorded later. Do you have any questions until now? If you have any questions, you are free to write in the chat room. Someone say just repeat the four relationship. Okay, I'll just repeat it fastly. We have four relationship: association, aggregation, composition, and inheritance. The associations mean the relationship between class A and class B. Class A use class B. Class A use class B. Like think about, I have an employee, they're using the bus or the train. An employee as a class, you will have a class employee use the train. So here, this is an aggregation class. I can remove the employee, the relation between the employee and the train or the bus, it will be in the two sides. Employee can send, say, book a ticket from the train. A train can having more than one employee or more someone to make the train working. So like that, we have association in post direction. We have a class, two classes acting to each other in post direct. You can think of association like a relationship between students and faculty. A student can send anything, a lot of relationship between the faculty. A student can be have in more than one class or more than one faculty. A faculty will be having 100 of students and he can send 100 of message for all of them. So this is in a relationship in post direction. We call that association. Aggregations mean a class A contain class B, or you can say class A has an instance of class B in other way. Both mean we have two classes. They have a small relationship between each of them. Like think about a teacher and a department or faculty and department. I am Samar, I am related to IT department. If I resign or if I left the department, that does not mean the department will not be there. The department will be there. So this is a kind of aggregation relationship. A composition is opposite for that. A opposition is class A will own class B. That means if class A is deleted, you must to delete class B. Like think about a bank and accounting. So if I have account in a Rajhi Bank and a Rajhi Bank is closed, so I cannot have a still account in a Rajhi Bank. So this is if the class deleted or removed, the related class must be deleted or removed. So that think about a composition. A generalization is kind of the inheritance. We can see like a tree is a parent class. A banana tree is inheritance. have different characteristics and different. Apple tree is a child class from the tree. So generalization is something like that. You make something general, and then only you specialization through the object or through the other class. Is that clear? Yahya, is it clear? Yahya, you told me only yes. Repeat everything. Ghaida, miss what the difference between composition and inheritance? They look the same. No. An inheritance, ya Ghaida, the parent class will not own the child class. If I delete the parent, the child may be there and do whatever he wants to do. He will have some properties and method. But in the compositions, think about it's a parent and child. A parent, if the parent is dead, the child must be dead also. Okay? Is that clear, ya Ghaida? Okay, thank you. We'll go for another relationship called multiplicity. Multiplicity means the relationship between two classes is more than one, more than three, more than four. So how we will read that? If we see number one, that mean exactly one. No more, no less. No more, no less. If you see 0 to 1, that means 0 or 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. If you see the asterisk, means many. If you see 0 or asterisk, that means 0 or many. If you see 1 to asterisk, that means 1 or many. Okay, so let us think about the relation. Like if we have here, a company will have only one company. An employee will be work only in one company, not two, not three, not four. But a company will be having one employee or more. Think of how you will read this relationship. The company, the related employee related to the company, it will be near to the employee. Relation between the employee and the company, it will be related to the company. So the employee can be working in only one company, and the company will be having one employee or asterisk. Okay? We'll take an example for this is a question for exam question. Think about this is like a short question exam. What is the purpose of the black triangle around arrowhead in UML when you add it to the association name explained by example? So here what we'll do, we'll see our example. This example is from our book or our slide. A UML allow a little black, this arrow, to show you or to make it easy for you to read the direction between the class employee and the class company. So from that direction, I will understand employee work in the company. It cannot be a company work in the employee. So UML allow a black triangle arrow to be added to the association name to indicate the direction of reading. If I find this arrow in this way, like this, and this is a logic, but think about it like that, that means a company works on employee, and this is wrong. The correct logical relationship between a company and employee, that means employee work in the company. Okay? Another example, they will say briefly, people, I want you to understand when they say briefly, when they say what is the purpose of the plaque, you see the answer is only 2 lines. Don't keep just writing of the sake of writing in the exam. The short question, it's always need a short answer. It will be 2 or 3 lines maximum, not a full page. Writing a full page not mean you are getting a high marks or getting a full marks. So please be aware, when you see a part of the short questions, when you receive that part, make sure you understand the question clearly and make your answer short and clear. كل ما كانت يا جماعة الإجابة بسيطة وواضحة, that will be easy to understand and you will get a high marks. If you write a whole page, you can write صفحة كاملة, but it's wrong. So no benefit from that. You are wasting your time in the exam by writing something irrelevant. Okay, so please be aware when you see a short questions, the answer it will be short answer. If they ask you to draw something, try to draw a correct diagram. If you don't know how to draw or you don't remember the correct diagram, just leave it without any drawing. You will get a marks for the explanation and you will miss the marks for draw. So here we'll have another question. Briefly discuss the importance of time, and this is also in our slide, and how it can be represented in a class diagram. Make sure to add example to your discussion for a better clarifications. So here we have to briefly explain what is the time important. We can simply say time can be represented in a class diagram by adding more association between the classes and with help of different rule names and different association. So here we see library member. This is our example from the book. You can use it if you are remember it, or you can use another example. A library member can take a book. We have only library member. We have hundreds of books. That's mean asterisk. As a library member, I can have a pass borrow, and I have a pass loan. So depends on my current borrow. I will have current loans. I can have a lot of loans here. They didn't mention. I can mention 0 to 3. That means it will be specifically 3 loan or 5 loan. But because this is just an explanation, no need to mention numbers 3 or 4 or 2. Just you can say asterisk or 1 or 2. That indicator for the timing. Is that clear? Someone, Yahya, you ask about how we read the relationship. The relationship we read like this. This is a company, and this is the employee. A relationship here is related to employee and the company. So we'll have a company have one or asterisk employee. I'll just remove this, erase all. Here you will see, I want to change the color. Here, yeah. I have here a company have one employee or more. Employee will have only one company. أنا كموظف I can be only in one company as employee. But a company كشركة it will be having one employee at least. ما في شركة ما فيها موظف. At least one employee and asterisk. Okay? So like that you will read the class diagrams. Is that clear, Yahya? Okay, thank you. So we'll go for another example for questions, like they will say explain. Notice command explain and briefly explain and discuss. This is all the word for the short questions. Explain how to utilize more than one association between a pair of classes and when an additional association is necessary. Provide an example to enhance your explanation. So here he simply just make the explanation without writing, but in the exam hall you have to write something, people. So provide example to illustrate your explanation and other things. Okay, you have to write explicitly how to, what's mean by the association between two pair of class. You can write just one line, not more. Explain the association relationship and the additional association. Here you can use the example. This is an example from our book, or you have if you are in the exam hall, you can have any things coming to your mind. Here they will see a shop. A shop will be having a customer. When we have an additional associations means we have more than one relationship between our classes. So here we'll have 4 relationship. The main one is this week customer. So the customer will be the customer of the month, the customer of the year, the best customer at all. So think like that. Like I don't think we have, you can think about مثلا a doctor and a patient. A doctor will be having number of patients. You can say a sugar diabetes patients, a high pressure patients, and a patient will come for insurance, a patient without assurance. You can think of something like that between each and every 2 classes. That is what we consider an additional associations. You can think about another, like this example, they will say here we have a person and a city. A person will be having only one per city, and a city will be having more than one person because say if I born in Riyadh, there will be 100 or 1,000 of people born in Riyadh, but I will be only born in Riyadh, not in Riyadh and Medina in the same time. But for the city, for work, I can be working in Riyadh today. Next year, I'll be in Medina. Next year, I'll be in Jeddah. So I'll be having many workplace city. This is our example for the book and library. This is a library. A library member can have many books they want, and they will have many past borrows and many past loans and only current borrow. For the meantime, they will have only one current borrow, but they can be having past and can be passing loans. Okay. واضح يا جماعة? Do you have any question? If you have any questions, please write in the chat room. Thank you. Type here in another question. They will say, and I always told my students, people, read the questions once and twice until you understand what they want you to do, then only start answering the question. Reading the question or just read the first part of the question without completing the rest of the question, it will make you missing some marks. Like, for example, I can say, some people, I ask them why you didn't draw the diagram. They say only just, maybe he wants only to explain, because he read, explain how to represent an association between a class and itself, and when it is necessary to do this, the rest part illustrated by a diagram, they didn't read it. They just write, and go out of the example. So here, clearly we have to explain the relationship of the association when we have a class itself by 1 or 2 lines. Then you have to draw something. Any class, think about any class, person, employees, doctor, any class. Most of the classes they have an itself class. Like here, a person. We have a lot of workers or employee, but one of us as employee must be a boss. One of us must be a secretary. One of us may be a security boy. So like that, think of itself relationship. Itself relationship, you can think for any class. Just put a relationship inside. Think about that. A doctor, we can think about doctor and the head department of doctor, or head departments of the surgery department. Faculty, the dean. It will be our boss, but also he will be an employee in Arab Open University, for example. Okay. Here, another way for another questions. Explain how to specify the navigability of an association in a class diagram. And we know navigability, that means it shows me where I go next, in which direction. And also with an example of drawing some classes. Here, this is our example from our slide, and you can use your own example. We will have a customer. A customer will be having more than one invoices. Invoices will be for only one customer. يعني الانvoice يا جماعة cannot be for more than one customer. Invoice for one customer, but the customer will have more than one invoice. And the invoice itself, it can be have multiple kind of products or multiple kind of things. I will buy 100 things. I will buy a lot of things in one invoice. So that will be go to the invoice line. The directions say the invoice line will never speak to the invoice, but the invoice, when we see the arrow in this direction, that means the navigability. Navigability means invoice will go directly to the invoice line. So this is the next step. This is a transition of how my class will be worked from invoice going to the invoice line. Okay. This is all kind of short question. If you write a one line correctly and draw the diagram correctly, you will get the full marks for this kind of question. Very easy. Okay. Here we want to just speak about the difference between a constraint and generalization and specialization. Think about a constraint like here we say XOR. XOR means I have two conditions or two relationships. One of them must happen. Both they cannot happen. Like think about a customer. He wants to open an account, saving account or gold account. As a customer in any bank, or we'll say مثلا الإنماء bank, they allow me to open either saving account or golden account. I cannot have the same two account in الإنماء bank. If this is the case, so I have to use the relationship XOR between these brackets. So my customer, either he will open saving account or open gold account. They cannot open both in the same time. This is a constraint relationship. Another way for generalizing the constraint or the relation between the classes, if we have an account and saving account in different bank on different place, they will say, I can open my account, and after I open it, I can make it saving account. So by this way, you will have a parent class and child class. The parent class will be the generalization class, and the child class will be the specialization class, because you make your account as saving account. So here the differentiation between a constraint using in association like XOR and something constraint related to generalization and specialization. Is that clear, people? Okay, thank you. We'll move forward. We have something called a domain structure. Think about a domain structure model like our example is contained. This is also from our slides. We have a class diagram. We have a user, directories, and file. For each and every directories, there will be a lot of user can access. And for each and every user, they will be having more than one directory. Each file, it will be only in one directory, but for each directory will be having many files. This is the class diagram. When we go for an object diagram, that's what we have to be aware in the exam hall. If they are, sometimes they give you a class diagram, ask you to generate an object diagram. So if this is my class diagram with one user, directory, and file, may they ask me to create a diagram with two users, with having many directories and many files. So this is the first part, a user, we call user Yusri or Ahmed or Fatima, and user number 9, or you can call it Muhammad or Amjad or Iman. And you will have some names here, the Jack, and some department related for the sales department or accounting or HR, related to the planning department. This is the value you can put as you like. A directory, it will be a document directory or a folder directory or MTA directory. A directory, it will be in a program. A file should be whatever name you like. Then you will have a file name F6. You will give a file name letter, department, spreadsheet, documents, whatever you want. Notice that when we are creating the object diagram, it should be underlined, the object name, colon, and the class name. Underline, and then if you have a property, it will be here with a value. And if we have functions, we have a third rectangular here to show that we have a method or behavior or characteristics. Is that clear, people? How we will call this is in Java or anything here, we can say the object name dot component, or the F226 dot component that's 6 that refer to the attributes. So we have ways to write these things like what we did in M254. We'll go for something called navigation expression, such as object name, properties name, and like this you'll have. So this is a way of writing object constraints language, or shortly we'll say OCL. Here we'll have an example for question exam. Explain the concept of attributes acting as a unique identifier in a class diagram. That's mean you have to remember how we will put a unique identifier in the class, and describe how to represent. In addition, discuss the advantage of using unique identifier in the class diagram. So here you can speak about what is mean by qualifying association. That is, it will be having a proper properties or attributes. It should be a unique, it should be a repeatable to identify the specific class. And what is the benefit of that? It will be giving a more information into our module. So like example, if I have an account and I have a bank, so a bank account, it should be a small rectangle like this is our attribute. And this is how we represent the qualified, the unique identifier into our diagram or into the class diagram. Is that clear, people? The main point here in this question, the diagram should be correct. And where you put the account number. If you put the account number here, that's in this area, that will be wrong. So it should be related to the bank. The account here, it will be in the right positions. And you have to mention the unique identity of your object or of your attributes. And you need to mention 2 or 3 statements about the qualified association, how it is working with a class, and what does it mean to the classes. When we have a qualified association, it means one of the end, there is a qualified consistency of one of more attributes, like a student ID, account number, patient ID. You can think of 100 examples, and you can, the most important, just you have to draw correctly. Here, another question. Explain the concept drift association in a class diagram. I want you always to notice this part. If they say class, I will just change the color. If they say class diagram, it should be class diagram, people. If they say use case diagram, it should be use case diagram. If they say activity diagram, it should be activity diagram. When you are drawing the correct diagram, that it show the examiner, you understand the difference between them. But if I say for you, draw a class diagram, and you give me activity diagram, that means you didn't understand the differentiation between the diagram for the course. That means you miss a main important point from this course, okay? So be sure you read the questions correctly and describe how to represent it. In addition, discuss the advantage of using a drift association class diagram. So we will clearly see a drift association class diagram represent a relationship that is not a fundamental, but can be drift from other fundamentals. So we have only one fundamental relationship in the system. It is a way to show a relationship that can be computed based on other existing association without storing them explicitly. So here, this is the main relationship or the fundamental. That means I have a family and child. We have all the children here. For each children, it will be for only one family. Nobody have more than one family people. But for each family, we'll have a lot of children, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 10. So a drift association means we have to use this backslash here and this backslash here. And it should be clearly mentioned, I have 10 children in my family, for example. I have 3 teenagers. I have 3 in home. I have 3 in university. I have 1 in very small age, 2 or 3 months. So like that, I am drift the association for the child for each and every family. Okay, is that clear? Do you understand the drift association relationship? No, association, a multiplicity association, it will be in 2 directions. يعني a class like when we see association here, we'll go for one association. Which one's association? Here, when you see association between passenger and airline, an airline will be can send multiple messages to the passenger, and the passenger can send multiple messages to the airline. That is a communications between 2 classes in 2 directions. Communication between 2 classes in 2 directions. But for a drift relationship, a drift here, this is a way of, we have something main. We can just have this relationship. فينا نكتفي فقط بهذه relationship without mention these 2. This is something called additionally. If you want to show it into your diagram, or if you find a need for that, then only you can show. And these 2 classes, they will not send a message to each other. A family will not send for a child, and a child will not send for a family. This is a definition of the type of the relationship between a family and the child. Okay? واضح يا? Is that clear? Judy. Okay, thank you. Here we'll have a differentiation between a formal and informal way for writing a constraint in the class diagram. You can use, this is type of a formal constraint. Both يا جماعة are correct. You can use any one of them. Depends on what you are remember, say in the example. Formal constraint, you can use a subset between the curve brackets. Like here, you will put the dash line, and you have to specify the arrow way. Then in between the bracket, you write company secretary must be a member of the staff. This is our constraint here. Or you can use the informal constraint type. You can have here this rectangular, and you have the dash line between 2 classes. You have to mention here, this is the dash line here, and this is the dash line here. Both they are showing to the constraint. So this constraint is applied for the person and the company. And here, same, this constraint will apply for a person related to the company. And you have to understand that is the message name or the function name should be related to the class which we apply that. See, a person should be one from this company or this staff, then only can be work as a secretary. As we see here, and we have only one secretary, but we have 100 of staff, and the same we have the multiplicity 100 of staff, and it will have only one secretary. Okay, this is just the way of drawing the diagram. If you use a formal way, it's correct, and if you use the informal way for the constraints also are correct. We'll take an example question for a class diagram. In the exam hall, they will ask you, give the following draft of the class diagram. This is a diagram with 7 classes: course, grade, university, faculty, transcript, student, course material. They're writing just a diagram like that and ask you to modify. They will not say modify all people. They'll say modify some of the association to reflect the following and make sure to justify why you did that. So here they give me the four relationship. A composition, that is mean must. Aggregation, that is mean use. Navigability, that's mean transition. Qualified association, that's mean uniqueness. So how we will think about that, we will go for, when you see a faculty, if the university is there, the faculty should be there, and this is a university on the faculty, so we will write a compositions relationship. If the university destroy or close, the faculty will be removed immediately. This is a compositions. Think about aggregations. If the university having some student, if the university close, the student will be remain. They may shift to another university or go for another place. Think about the qualification association. For each student, they will be having an ID. That will be a unique identifications for the students. Think about the course. If you are only registered in the course, then only you allow to see the material. So that is a transition or navigability. Think of the course grade and transcript. If you don't have a transcript, you cannot have a course grade. So that is a composition, another way of composition. If you have only one composition and one aggregation here and one navigate and you qualified association, this will be enough. No need for 2 or 3 or 4. Because here in the exam, he didn't mention how many. He just mentioned modify some of the association to reflect these 4. So just I want to see in your new diagram in the exam, in the answer, you give me the 4 relationship. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay? Is that clear, people? Someone says no sound. Do you hear me now? Faris, do you hear me now? Okay, thank you. Okay, I think maybe just cut for 1 minute or the network. Okay. We'll have another questions for the class diagram. They will say, draw a class diagram. Be sure to draw a class diagram. Be sure to draw a class diagram for a dental clinic system. Here, they didn't mention anything related to how the dental clinics they will be working. So you can only, but they give me some hint. They give me, I have to have 4 class. So I will have 4. You can have 5 or 6, no problem, but you have to stick with the 4. You will have 1 aggregation or composition. So I can have only one of them. No need to have both. I will need 1 generalization and 1 association. And if do you have multiplicity and all the rule, no name if you have any rules between the classes. So how they will do for that, they will say, for example, that depends on you as a student. You can select your classes as doctor, patients, services, and the staff. This is the 4 classes. When they ask you to make a generalization, here a doctor may have identity and authority. This is a generalization. So this is done. And this is done. For aggregation or composition, you select a composition here. They will say a services for the staff. If there's no the staff, they will give the services. If there's no staff or we delete the staff, the service will be deleted. So this is and compositions. So this is done. And associations mean a relationship between 2 classes in two ways. So here we'll have different association. You can say doctor having the services for the doctor. So this is association. A multiplicity will say here a patient will be having more than 1 services. 1 services or many services can be given for 1 patient. For a rule name, we'll say doctor attend by a services, or a service is managed by, this is for the rule, or patient book the services, or services use equipment. So this is all correct names. They didn't mention how many type of names we want. If minimum of 3 or 4, it will be good for your answer. Is that clear? Do you have any question? Thank you. This is another example here. In this example here, they give me the full scenario. Here they say, the dental clinic system would require keeping track of the details of services, staff, patients, doctors, available equipment. The clinic staff has staff ID, name, job title. This is attributes, people. Contact number and email address. Doctor details are ID, name, specialist, job title, contact number, and email. There are 2 types of doctors, dentistry and orthodontist. The services are managed by the clinic staff. The details to be stored are ID, descriptions. The patient's book are available appointment. The patient's information kept, the patient ID, name, and age. The service use various equipment. The details are ID, description, and purchase. So they will ask me to identify classes. So how many class I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will have 5 classes here: staff, doctor, patient, service, equipment. They asked me to identify the attributes of each class. Attributes for staff, they mention ID, name, job, contract number, email address. For the doctor, ID, name, specialty, job title, contact number, email address. For the patient, patient ID, name, age, past history. For the services, ID, description, duration, and cost. For the equipment, ID, descriptions, and so on. So like that, you are identifying your attributes. Then only they ask me to draw a class diagram for the scenario. So related to that scenario, we may have a patients, doctors, services, equipment, and doctor have 2 specialization, orthotist and dentist, and a staff giving to the services, and patient also the services. So like that, you are drawing your correct diagram. Is that clear, people? Any question in this question? Okay, we'll take just a break for 10 minutes and I'll come back. Take 10 minutes break. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. We are back. We are going for class diagram question 3. Let us see the questions. The question will say, consider the following class diagram. معطينا الرسمة already, we have the class diagram. Answer the question below. Plus means public, يعني if you see plus here, معناتها this property is a public, so anyone in all the class can access. So we'll go for the first questions. Objects of which classes have a field name address? This is cost for marks. Address here, it will be for person and building. There's no address here in office. There's no, we'll see if for here in the attributes. There's no address, only for staff and doctor. So here we have only for person, for building. Employee don't have address. So this is actually not correct. We have only for person, not for employee, not for hourly, or not for this. We have only for person or for building. They have only address here. This is a property for address. This is a wrong answer. Do hourly employee instance have offices? So this is hourly employees. Here, they have offices. No, they don't have office. Sorry. They don't have office because the office will be only for salaries employees. So a hourly employee, that means the part-timer came for the work, they don't have offices. By what method do instance of the class office assign their building? So we have a function called set occupied method here. This is the method they will set the building for set occupied here. List all attributes and method of salaries employees classes. So we'll have how many attributes we'll have for attributes for salary employee. This is the salary employee class here. How many method attributes they have? They have weekly pay, and they have employee ID, and they have name, and they have address. And here we'll have a method that is set wage and move office and hire and file. So here for this, I would just return back for this here object having address. This is correct, people, because employee, they will inherit from the person, so they'll have address. And for the salary employee here, they also inherit from employee inherits from here. So this is correct and this is correct. I will again mention here for the first questions, they will say which class have name address. A name address for a class person, employee, hourly employee, and salary. How that happens? Because employee inherits from the person, so we have a class address and public. And salary employee inherits from the employee, and they have the address class in public, so they inherit from that. And hourly employee also inherits from employee, so they have address. So 4 classes here, cost address, or they have the name field address here. Is that clear? Do you have any questions? Yahya, why always say there's no voice? The voice, anyone? Do you hear me? I am here. Someone say there's no voice. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Faris. Thank you. We'll go here again. They will say list all. They will say list all classes whose instance can use for method fire. Where is the method fire? You will see method fire here. So the employee can inherit the method fire. The hourly employee, because it's public, and the salary employee also, they can, because the fire here is public and they are inheritance. This is child and this is child for the employee. So they can show this method. How many objects can be associated with the building objects? This is a building object. So we can have many offices, because here they will say a building, one building can have multiple offices. So how many employees are associated with given office? office occupied by only one employee, one and one. So may, they give me an example like that, and they will say, they give you some answer like this. So be prepared for any question related to the diagram or related to any things related to your subjects. Is that clear, people? Any question in أي سؤال في question 3, how we solve the questions? Okay. So we'll go for question number 4. They will say, what is the name of the diagram? When we see this diagram, this is a class diagram. This is a class diagram. So we will mention, this is a class diagram. Class diagram. Does this diagram consider as a static or dynamic modeling? Explain, because we know a class diagram is a static model. So we'll mention this is a static model. Why it is static? Because it will show only the element of the class and their relationship. There is nothing more. And it does not describe behavior over time. How the bank will go for the customer, how the customer go for the account. There's no activity here or no dynamic module here. So that's why we call a static module, because it's contain only a classes and their relationship only. Okay. They will say extend the above diagram means this diagram. Extend means increase it, such that ATM information identify many ATM transaction. Money are two type of ATM transactions. Sorry, I'm just reading wrong. ATM information identify many ATM this transaction. So this is the ATM transaction, identify many ATM transactions. Where withdraw transaction and transfer, so we have two transactions, withdraw and transfer. So here we will add a withdraw transaction and a transfer transactions. Are two type of ATM transaction. ATM transaction modify the accounts, add any required rules, name, and multiplicity. So ATM transaction will have a transfer of the money and withdraw the money. Through the ATM, ya jama'a, I can do both, either withdraw or add some money. This kind of transactions will modify my balance account. My balance account, if I withdraw something, that my balance will be changed. If I have, if I have 1,000, if I have 1,000, sorry, 1,000 real, if I take 500, so my money will be less than 1,500 will become 500. So it will be modified. And vice versa, if I have 1,000, I add plus 500, so my money will be 1,500. So my balance should be modified. Like that, think about the extent of the diagram. And they clearly mention how you extend the diagram by making two classes, add withdraw and transfer money. And you can add in, instead of saying modification, I will say update my balance. That is just you have to write something related to the topic and make the examiner understand that you understand what's going on. Okay? Well, Jama'a, do you have a question? If you have any questions, please write in the chat room. Okay. We have another question, another example, question number 5, with another diagram. They say given flow class diagram, this is also class diagram with 5 classes: member, club, associated member, playing member, and team. They ask what is the maximum number of the club that a member could belong to at the same time. So we will see here, this is our member. This is our member. We'll check the member class. And they ask about clubs. So this is the clubs. So a member can be only in one club. So we write 1. Is it allowed to have a club without any team? So this is our club, and this is a team. When we see asterisk, asterisk means 0 or many. 0 or many. So we will say yes, they can. Without, what are the attributes of the class playing member? So we'll go for a playing member. Attributes, they have 2 attributes, weight and length. So this is 1 marks. They have only this, only name and age and social. Okay, because here this is a child class and this is a parent class. So they'll be having, this is the main specialization for the playing member, and they have only these 3 properties added because this is their parent. So they have name, age, and social situations. So this is extra marks. So the total marks will be 1 plus 0.5 plus 0.5 here with a playing number coming from here, from the team. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attributes related to a playing member. What are the operation of the class club? So we'll go for the class club. Here there is no data field. So here this is the operation, 2 operation, get member and get team. So they have 2. Okay. طبعا يعني a kind of question like that, this is very easy. You have to get this marks fully if it's came. Okay. Is that clear, people, how you will solve the questions? Do you have any question? أعيدها. Okay, يحيى. أعيد كل الكويشن يا يحيى. We'll start from here. We'll again see. عندنا the first question say, what is the maximum number of the club at the member? عندنا this is a member and this is a club. For a member, we'll be having related only for 1 club. So we'll have 1 club. احنا دائما بنشوف العلاقة اللي هنا related to this. A member will be having only in 1 club. A club يا جماعة will be having as 1 or asterisk member. A club will be having 0 asterisk or 1 member. Then the second question, is it allowed to have a club without any team? So we'll check the classes. And then 2 classes here, a team, a club. So we'll see the relation between the club and the team. A club will have asterisk. Asterisk يا جماعة معناتها it means 0 or many. So that means it should be yes or no. So if you return back to the relationship, just I want to remind you here about how we read the multiplicity. Asterisk means 0 or many. 0 or asterisk many. So we'll say 0 here. This should be 0 or asterisk, not only asterisk. Asterisk means money. Fine. Number C, what are the attributes of the class playing member? So this is my playing member here. For playing member, they have 2 attributes inside the class, weights and links. Well, they have these attributes, playing number. So this is 3. And this class inherits from this class, so they will have a name, age, and social situation. So this is all the attributes for the playing member. What are the operation of the class club? Operation of the class club يعني behavior or the function. So I will go for the class club. I will see two operation here get member and get team. لما تشوف اسم الكلاس اللي فيه السؤال بتروح على الكلاس نفسه and you will check what is inside that class. Is that clear? Is that clear يحيى؟ Okay. طيب نواصل في نفس السؤال هو what is the name, the meaning of the arrow on the association between club and team. And عندي this is a club and this is a team. This is the relationship اللي he belongs to. This relations means an instance of the class club can send a message to an instance of the class team, but not the other way around 05. So here belong to means in this way. So a class club can send a message to an instance of the class team. So the club can send to, but the member will not send for the club. So this is a club belongs to, a member belongs to the club. A member belongs to the club. I will. A belongs to relationship. Belongs to means a club can send a message to a team. Here he is in the class. Sorry, I am here, not in the club and member. We are in the club and team. When we see this direction, so the relation in this direction. So a club can send a message to the team cannot send a message to the club. Okay? See the arrow. Number F, what is the type of the association between team and playing member? This is the team, playing member. The association here is because they have a playing number only for each and every team. So this is a unique identification. So this kind of relationship we call qualified association. How can we model the following invariant for the weight of a playing member should be at most 100 grams by adding invariant to the class playing member invariant self weight is less than 100. Here we'll add here a constraint here inside, writing that self dot weight should be less than 100. Okay? Is that clear, people? Do you have any question here? A team class has a play number attribute. We'll check a team class. Sorry. A team class here. Not a play number, not for the team. A play number for a playing member. A playing member as a player, like think about a playing member like a student having an ID number. So for that here we'll have for. Where is the qualification? What is the type of association between a team and playing member? They have a qualifications number. For each playing member, we have a playing number. Okay? Okay. Number H, giving the following object diagram. Here they say clearly object diagram. Explain in each case if the object diagram is valid or not. And if it is not valid, explain why. So we'll check diagram number 1. This is our main diagram, ya jama'a. We'll have the relation between member, club, team, playing member, and member. See this diagram. Here we have a member and a club. A member age is 5. They will say here this diagram is wrong because a member name should be 6 years old at least, but age of the member here is 5. So this is an invalid diagram. Where they mention it's 6 and 5. Okay. You have to check here. You see the constraint here? A member, to be a member, you have to be your age greater than 6. So here, Habib, his age is 5. So this is a wrong diagram. Cannot be, because Habib cannot be a member because he didn't qualify the constraint. Okay? Diagram number 2. Number 2 here. It is valid because here we have Jasmine as associations member of AI Arab Club. This is where is the association member here. This association member, and this is the club. So she can be part of the club. So this is correct. Diagram number 3. It is not valid. Anas, which is a member link with a team, but there is no association between class member and team. A class member, this is a member here, and the team, there is no relation between a member and the team, so this is a wrong. We'll go for diagram number 4. Also, diagram number 4 is not correct because a playing member could not have a one link with an instance of the team. A playing member cannot have a link with a team. Okay, so they're giving us a main diagram and 4 diagram. We specify which is correct and which is wrong, depends on the original one. The first diagram is not valid. The second is correct, and the 3 diagram is wrong. Only the second one is correct. Tamam? This is only the correct diagram. 1 and 3 and 4, they all wrong. Depends on the previous diagram. You will see here, ya Jama'ah, you will check this diagram to specify the relationship here. Is that clear, people? Do you have a question into this diagram? Unique ID, yes. Unique identification is a qualified relationship between the classes. Think of playing member like a student ID. Okay, thank you. Thank you, right, okay. I notice only the boys ask me, where is my girls? Salih, Faris, where is Ruba, Rania, Maram, Hanan? Where are you? Are you there? Is all clear? Yes, yes, yes. I want to show where is the girl? Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. Okay. We'll go for the object diagram. Object diagram is related to the class diagram always, but the differentiation between the object and the class diagram, we will have a value for our properties and functions in the object diagram. So here simply we'll say this is an object name and this is a class name, and we have to write the underline to show that we are drawing an object diagram. We can have more than one objects in the diagram, like directory. We can have here 1 and 2, 1 directory, 2 and 3 directory, but in the class diagram we'll have only 1 directory. That is the main difference between the class diagram and the object diagram, because object represent many objects for one classes, but for the class diagram, for each and every class we'll have only 1 class. You cannot have more than 1 class as redundancy proven from the characteristic of the object-oriented programming language. So for this object diagram, when we saw something like that, they will say, draw the class diagram and make sure to include the following. So if you see here, I have user 1, 2, directory 1, 2, 3, and file 1, 2, 3. So when I want to draw the diagram for these objects, I want to ask myself how many class I have. So from this diagram, I will see I have user is a one class, directory is a one class, file is one class. So I will have only 3 classes in my diagram. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 objects. But when they ask me to draw a class diagram, I will draw only 3 classes diagram. What attributes I have? For the attributes, we'll have for the class user 2 attributes, name and department. For the class directory, we'll have 2 attributes, name and disk. For the class file, you have 2 attributes, name and type. And like that, only you will start explaining or understanding your diagram, then only go for drawing the class diagram. So we'll see how our class diagram look like simply. And notice دايما يا جماعة, the class diagram will be more simple than the object diagram. Here we'll have x3 class, as I mentioned, user, directory, and file. 3. 1, 2, and 3. For each and every class, we have 2 properties, name and department, name and disk, name and type. Then for this association or this relationship, we'll have between a user and directory, we'll have use and access. So we'll put use and access. Between user and directory, we'll have asterisk and asterisk. So a directory will have many users. A user can have many directory. The relationship between the directory and file, so it will be from here. We have a component and we have a content, so 2. For each and every a file could be in only one directory, but a directory will be having multiple files. For each and every directory will be subdirectories and parent directory, so we'll have a self relationship between one directory. So like that, you minimize your objectives class to a small class diagram and vice versa. In the exam, they will give you an object diagram, ask you to create a class diagram like these questions. And you see that cost you 20 marks. This is so much of marks. You can get it very easy without memorizing anything from the slide. يعني الجماعة اللي ما بتحفظ. This is only to understand the diagram. I'm always told my student for the TM354, if you understand the diagram correctly and you know how to draw the diagram, you will get the highest marks in the exam. Okay, so this is at 20 marks. It costs you 20 marks in the exam hall. And actually, this is for the final, ya jama'a. In the mid, a drawing diagram will cost you only 15 marks. So simply, you can change from object diagram to a class diagram and vice versa from class diagram to the object diagram. And what I told my students always, and I will told you for you also, drawing a diagram, people, not just by looking. I cannot just look for this diagram and see for the result. That means I will understand how to draw in the exam hall. These are always an مقولة, in English way, they will say, you have to make your hand dirty, يا جماعة. You have to put a paper, a pen, and start drawing from your mind. Then only you will remember how to draw in the final, in the MTA and in the final exam. Seeing the slide, seeing only the slide without making your hand drawing, you cannot draw a correct diagram in the final. Believe me, you have to do that. Okay. Here, this is and they use the same example. Yani, this is an example from our slide. This is the object they will use, and this is the class diagram. So this came from our slide. It's not from outside. Okay. Right. Here, an example for mock exam, MTA. You have to read this part carefully. It will be 2 hours or 3 hours, depends on the time. You have to read this part. It will be contains 3 parts of the exam. It costs you 60 marks because by the end we divide it into 2, so you will get only 30. And this is good for you as a student. When you have a high marks, when you have mistakes, the mistake will be reduced to the half. You will have a multiple questions like 6 marks, and short answer with 24 marks, and the problem solving with 30 marks. That will be 2 questions related to the drawing. You will have to, this is a regular for the university, you have to write your name, your idea, and all your answer into the answer sheet. People, try to remember, for MCQ, you have to put your mark into the answer sheet. If you put your marks in the question sheet, you will not get the marks. This is a rules and regulation for Arab Open University. So make sure after you solve the MCQ, you take that answer written into the answer sheet, because we didn't want you to miss any single marks. The use of electronic device is not allowed because no need for that in our exam. Here with part 1, it will be something look like that. Multiple choice question. The first question will say the definition of relevant term are usually placed in the artifact as a glossary. And for MCQ, there is no guessing here. Either you know the question and know the answer, or you are not. Another example, which artifact primarily capture the behavior and interaction with a system over time? That is a dynamic module. Which artifacts define the constraints or conditions that a system must adhere to, or the way in which business operation must be carried out? That is business rule. Which artifacts depend on the static structure of the entities in a system and their relationship? That is a structural domain module. And here I notice that here is all the question related to the artifacts. And this is strange. Which of the following is not covered by a security requirement, which is support? Access is security, privacy is security, audit is security. Which of the following is typically a functional requirement? That is a user authentications. So for MCQ, there's no guessing. Either you read the question, you know the answer, or not. Which test can indicate whether use of specialization is correct or not? That is substitutability. Which test ensure that certain conditions remain unchanged through the execution of the program or operation? That is invariance. Here, a sample of questions with the answer. I'll just make it maximize a little bit, and even me, I can see. This is a first short question. A short question will be 4 questions. Each one costs you 6 marks. You will see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one costs 6 marks. We'll go for the first question. The important characteristics of software that affect its development are malleability, complexity, and size. Briefly explain each one of them. And we explained this before. This is explanation into your slides. You either you remember it or you try to explain it. Don't write too much of information. Yani, try to make it short. Malleability is a software is easy to change. It's easy to update. It's easy to change from a situation to another situation. This is all definition for malleability. Complexity is show that the system is difficult to maintain, is very big and large. Something like the accounting system, it will be consist of a lot of errors. So like that, you explaining the complexity of the system software. A size of the software, whenever we have a size larger, that means our software is larger. When we have a small software, that means our size will be small, something like that. So for that, you have to give a correct answer. Short, make it short and clear, ya Jama. Second question is a government for some country decide to build a new public library where people contribute book as their applications. For other paro, list 1 non-functional requirement for such system, each of the following type, usability, and so on. So they'll give you some scenario like that. You have to give here. They will not give us an answer. Any answer you will give related to functionality or non-functionality related to this system, that will be a correct answer. Here we see list two different forms of prototype and briefly discuss who would normally start the prototyping process and who should test it. It can be taken several forms: a mock-up of the human computer, a working version of set of function, existing piece of software. You can find more than one example here and you can put it and explain it briefly. Briefly discuss the importance of time. This is just we saw in our slide and we solved this question. Okay. Come on, that's all. So here and another scenario: a government for some country decide to build a new public library. People contribute, so you can write a functionality like that: usability and humility, maintainability and support, legally. The library system interface should be user-friendly. The system should be modular in design. All the digital records are borrowed, including their personal information. Borrowed data must be stored securely, adhering for security. Like that, you can give hundreds of examples for functionality and non-functionality. Another scenario: startup plan to launch a mobile application using AI to provide personal fitness plan. List one non-functional requirement of each following time: usability, humanity, maintainability, and support and legal. For usability, you can say the system should be offered at any time for all the time for everyone. For maintainability, you can see the application should have feature like feedback mechanism, responding within on 24 hours, that support the application will be working all the time, day and night. For legal, you can see user health data must be encrypted and it should be secure under the rule and regulation for Saudi Arabia, if you are in Saudi Arabia, or under the government, which the application running under that. This is a further link. You can study more use case diagram if you go for these links to teach you more for how you can go for and prepare yourself for the MTA, inshallah. And I wish you all the best. I think I will stop here. Just be with me. I will take the attendance.